you all? I'm back again. This is Mona Lisa Joshi, and this is my show, Mona Lisa's Talk Show. And I'm super excited to tell you that we have already stepped in season 3, and this is episode 2 happening. And today I have an interesting guest with me who is an English teacher but a writer by passion, and she has authored many books. But we are going to talk mainly about her book, her debut collection of short stories, and also her journey. As a writer and many other roles that she plays. So let me quickly invite Anamika Kundu. Hi Anamika, how are you?
Hi, Mona Lisa. All good here. First of all, thank you so much for inviting me to your show. Thank you so much. I'm so glad to be here. And I'm really looking forward to chatting with you about my journey.
Absolutely. The pleasure is all mine. And I'm so happy to have you in season 3. And this is episode 2 happening. I'm really, at awe that how many episodes I've already done, and I'm already there in season 3. So I'm lucky to have you today and looking forward to have an interesting conversation.
So I must congratulate you for having this show running for 2 seasons and into the third one. And I feel really, really happy, and it's a privilege to be here on your third season.
Thank you, thank you. The pleasure is mine. And before we start, let me quickly give a small intro about you so that the people joining they know a little about you. And those who are not able to watch it right now, they can watch the video later. It will be on Facebook and also on YouTube and Spotify. So Anamika Kundu is a fun-loving person who also happens to be an English teacher. Loves to read, travel, listen to music, run half marathons, and play various sports. She has been privileged to travel across the country with her father and husband being officers in the Indian Army. And more about her personality as a writer, as a person of sports and teaching, we will talk through our interview. So, Namika,
Yes.
tell me how was your day and how much excited you are to be part of this interview today.
I am absolutely delighted to be a part of your show, and I have been lately introduced to you and your show, and I must congratulate you. You're doing such a wonderful job, and especially so much of contribution to literature and the world of literature.
Thank you. Okay, so let me start with the first question that I really wanted to know that you are an English teacher and you run half
Yes,
marathons and you play different other
yes,
sports. So how did this
yes.
juxtaposition in your personality happen? And like we rarely get to listen this thing that English teacher quite sporty.
Ah, you
So
put
tell
it
me.
so nicely. Well, I think it all stems from my army background. Because in the camps we have all the facilities for different sports. I'm even very fond of horse riding and equestrian sports, and wherever I have got a chance, I have indulged in that as well. And it just is part of has been a part of my life right from my childhood, and I guess that is how it happens. But Murakami is also you know Murakami. He's also a great sports person. In fact, he's a triathlete, and he does inspire all of us. And I guess I never paused to think if that is a separate part of my life. It was just an integral part of my life.
So have you been doing these marathons and other sports like from the very beginning? And did you ever stop? Like when you got married, you had children, and did you ever stop or you started late?
Yeah, that's a very interesting question. Actually, I have been playing different games. I was not really into running as a sport. It's when my husband moved to Bombay after his retirement from the army. That was 17, 18 years back now. That I find, and we were in the civil street. I finally found that it was very difficult to get access to sporting activities, and if there was like a swimming pool or something, but and I couldn't play my badminton. I couldn't go play tennis. I couldn't go horse riding. And what I could do, I saw people was running, you know. And so I said, let me give it a try. And it started from just a weekend thing. And then there was this bug saying, okay, let me give a try to, running in an event. And there was an event for women only in Bombay. It was by the DNA newspaper, the first of its kind. And it was such a thrilling thing to take part in that. I did just a 5 kilometer. And there I saw there were these ladies who were running for hours to do a half marathon. And when I watched them, I said, oh, I can give it a try. And so the next year I gave it a try, and that is how the bug bit me. And I thought I will just do one, and it'll be on my bucket list, and I'll put a check mark on it. But the bug bit me bad. And the best thing was I didn't need an opponent, I didn't need a coach. I could do it at my time, whenever I had the time, wherever I wanted to. But I got introduced to a great set of people, the running community. In fact, my second book that I have curated as an editor has been on runners, and it's called The Runners Tribe. So that just shows how much I have been enamored with runners and running. And it's something which is very natural, just like walking. Only many people don't give it a try. But whatever is your poison, I'll say, or your joy, go ahead. So when I was when I got married, I still had access to all the sporting opportunities because my husband being in the army. But it's only later on. So running happened much later on, and I would recommend it to everybody.
Okay. And teaching happened before that.
Yes, teaching happened because I was an army officer's wife, and so my mother explained that she also was an army officer's wife. She says teaching is the best career for an army officer's wife because you get to move with your husband and with your family, and wherever you get an opportunity, you can follow your job. And where if you don't get an opportunity because it's a small place, there are very few schools, doesn't matter, you can teach your children. So I thought that was a great idea, and that is how teaching happened. And I don't think I regret it.
Okay. Now let's go back a little in time. Where were you born and your education? Please tell me your journey.
Hmm. No one has asked me that for a long time, but let me see. My father was in the Indian Army, as I said. I was born in Kolkata in the military hospital there, and then I have tagged along with my parents everywhere, and we have had a range of postings across the country. But quite a bit of time, my father was posted in Jammu, and so I have started my schooling in Presentation Convent, Jammu. And when it used to be, today you see it's a multi-storied building. My first venture into that school was when it was, I think, a two-storied building. And then we got posted to Kolkata during 1971 war. And after that, from Kolkata, we moved back. My mother and my sisters and I, we were in Jammu while my father was posted in a place called Poonch, and that's on the border area. And so we, back and forth across the country. I've been in a number of places and number of schools. And finally, when my father retired, he settled down in Ahmedabad. So college happened there. And um, I never set out to be an English teacher, but it happened to me. And I think it has been a very interesting part of my life. And as I transitioned into an author and a writer and a poet, I'm quite enjoying my journey.
So your writing journey started exactly at which age, or you were writing from the very beginning?
I have been a voracious reader right from my childhood. I think that is something I've inherited from my parents because I think my mother was never seen without a book, and my father also was. So if my mother was into fiction, my father was into non-fiction, and while my childhood is filled with Enid Blyton and Nancy Drew and the rest, and imagining. I mean, we were in some remote places where I remember all of us would take our cycles and pack our picnic baskets and quite imagine ourselves to be Secret Seven or the famous Five and go off on our cycles. Those were the days. I can't imagine children doing that today, but we used to do that, and they had fun. So reading has been always a very integral part of my life, and somewhere I think I did harbor an dream to write someday. Here and there one would pen down certain ideas, some production here in school or some in-house magazines one would edit, contribute. But during the lockdown, actually, it happened that I got introduced to this online platform called Did You Write Today? And there I met so many like-minded people, and we would, write through the week. Particularly on a Friday, we would get a prompt, and everybody would try and pen down something interesting, something different. And yeah, I think that's where it all started. And we also the our group, that's Did You Write Today, they also came out with a book, an ebook, during the lockdown period, and one of my stories got picked up for that. So that was like, oh my gosh, it'll always remain a very special moment for me. Yeah. And after that, one book to another, and contributing to them, to the anthologies, that did help. And here I am today.
Lovely. Now tell me about your book, Jewels from the Treasure Trove. Firstly, I want to know why did you choose this title, and then you say that it is a smorgasbord of experiences. How?
Yes.
And like you have
Yeah.
used
Oh,
magical realism, you have science fiction. So tell me more about it.
thank you. That's a lovely question. And here is my book. I've got it for you. Maybe I'll read a little excerpt. So this
Of
was
course.
not my original name for the book. My original name was A Story for Every Season and Every Reason, but it was quite a mouthful. So then my editor, my publisher, and we all just had a brainstorming, and we said, let's look for some alternate names. And I said, actually, these stories may have been written by me, but they are stories from the universe, and so they are like small jewels. Every story is like a jewel for me. So I thought, I put these jewels together, so they are the jewels from the treasure trove. That's how I came to the name. And it's an assortment of different genres because I didn't have a very lofty ideal to communicate through my work or my book. My purpose is just entertainment. The story should be read and enjoyed. And I have written on different topics, different themes, and like different genres. And I wanted it to be a mixed bag, like a little treasure box. So the reader kind of dips into it and picks out a story and reads it, and to add to that enchantment, I said let it be mixed genres so that it's the reader also doesn't know what is in for him or her that day. So they dip into it and they read the story. If they like, they can read a couple of stories depending on the time crunch. Because some of the readers, my friends, had said that sometimes it's very difficult to read a big novel because we don't have the time. So I said, okay, what about short stories? So they kind of liked the idea of short stories, and so we have all sorts. And so some are serious, some are humorous, some are like sci-fi. Because I thought that if I have fun writing it, people will have fun reading them. That's the idea.
Lovely, and you will be happy to know that so many comments are dropping in. So
Oh,
do
I'm
watch
so
them
glad.
later.
Thank you, friends, for joining in.
Yeah. So you want to read something from your book?
Sure. So, I'm going to read this particular story. This particular story is called Dusty. So, Dusty is actually sci-fi, and I have this kind of an idea that probably, if we are not careful, one day the last few Earthlings would have to kind of escape from the Earth, and maybe they'll need a special intergalactic Star War kind of spaceship and to do that. And now, in case they have to do that, they will need some special skills to
Okay.
maneuver that. Yeah. So I'll just read a small bit. The men had been training in the desert for days now. They were fed up with the dust which found its way everywhere. They accepted its presence on their clothes, their vehicles, their equipment, and even their food. Acceptance was the only way out. Their dugouts were fire in the day and ice at night. Such was the duality of the environment. Once, the young 19-year-old even dared to ask his commandant, "Are we here to be easily buried?" The old man stared at him with his dark, brooding eyes and nodded slowly to indicate he was not worthy of an answer. Their work was tedious, and the furnace like place was making things worse. They had to finish all the trials within the next 48 hours. There was no room for error. The burning heat, which was killing them, was the single factor which would make their work successful. Centuries ago, the earth teemed with people till the reactor had exploded. Cities had vanished in thin air. For days, for weeks, perhaps for months, everything was on fire. The very surface of the earth was raked, rough and deep, flinging boulders, rocks, pebbles, along with mountains of mud up to high heavens. And once the inferno settled, the dust lingered on. Life seemed to have disappeared, along with life sustaining water.
That's quite interesting. So do you believe in post-apocalyptic or apocalyptic world might happen? Kind of.
We humans are capable of anything.
Absolutely. Yeah. I would agree with that. And you are a sci-fi lover, or it's just something that you did for your book only?
As a literature teacher, every year, so a couple of years in Bombay, I was teaching in IG and IB, and there I had this experience of teaching sci-fi. You know, um, and I really the discussions that followed with the students is what triggered in my mind that well, this is quite possible, and
Yeah.
especially stories by Ray Bradbury. It kind of makes you believe in an apocalyptic kind of a situation,
Hmm.
and then the Star Wars and all these movies. So so as a reader, as an author, I feel, yeah, maybe it's possible, maybe it might happen if we are not careful, because the rate at which we have destroyed the environment and so many species, um,
Hmm.
we can do anything,
That's
especially destroying,
that's true.
especially destruction and destroying.
And destruction will come from the hands of humans only. That I believe, because as far we are going in, like the technology, modernization, and then this AI thing, it actually kind of scares me sometimes.
Yes, yes. So we need more people like Greta Thunberg and more awareness that we have to stop and we have to take responsibility to kind of reverse things. We have.
That's true.
So that's how my stories um, do get into this genre also.
Okay. Now I want to know that your father was in Indian Army, and so is your
Yeah.
husband. But you said just he has retired. But still, I want to know that you must have experienced so many transfers and postings. So how much easy and difficult it was for you to settle in and then again to move on? And did it somewhere kind of help you to shape your stories, like it became anecdotes for you?
Yeah, you have quite hit the nail on the head. First of all, as a child, I never knew there was a life other than what we lived. That, there
Yeah.
was like a life where you didn't move every couple of months, because we move maybe every 2, 3 years from a station to another station, a city to another city. But within the city also, when we first end up in a city, we get a temporary accommodation. Then we move into a permanent accommodation. So, and if the places got more officers and less quarters, then we might even have to stay in a two-room apartment kind of a thing. Um, and everybody's doing that. It's not just one or two. So
Hmm.
there, and the bonding in the army or the forces, the bonding is such, that we feel it even when we are traveling. When I moved to Mumbai, my first friends were people I met on the road or somewhere, even in anywhere, and who happened to be from the forces background. There was an instant connection, you know, and that happened across the world. I still remember that one uh, um, uh, weekend, the Veterans Weekend or something. We were in New York, sorry, in Washington, D.C. And there these veterans were going out in a parade on motorbikes. And so I was just standing and watching this parade, and then these guys stopped, and I was just talking to them. They made that instant connection, knowing that I am a defense personnel, family. So that is the kind of connect we have across the globe. And so um, that bonding also made it special, that it didn't matter that you were moving constantly, because everybody was. And like I said, till I actually became a civilian, when my husband retired, that's the first time I was not in a army camp or in a army background.
Hmm. Okay.
And I realized that yes, life is different for
Hmm.
the people in civilian,
Yeah.
what should I say, life. And so that was another kind of learning. As far as moving every 2 years is concerned, we lived in small places. We lived in God-forsaken places. We lived in places which is not to be found on the map of India, normal map of India. But we never thought of it as a negative. Like today, many people say, "Oh my God, it impacts the children." This, that. Um, well, I think back then nobody talked about it like that, so nobody thought of it like that. And I personally feel it has, yes, I lost friends, I made new friends, um, but we took it in our stride. And the
Hmm.
best thing I think is that, we can immediately strike up friendships and conversations. Definitely, my
That's
life
the.
is richer. Yes.
And which one do you prefer now? Now being a civilian, I mean, leading a life of a civilian, which one has become kind of close to you? Do you miss the army life, or this is better?
I do miss my army life, but the thing is that now that we're settled in Pune, we have quite a few of our old friends, friends from my childhood, friends from my husband's childhood, friends from his army life. So, in a way, we are still living in that life, and we are meeting people in the civilian world, and it's just kind of we've expanded our life, our family, our friends, and taken them all in. And just like how you accept people who are different, okay, these people are different, fine.
That's why we
So
say, na, Vasudev Kutumbakam.
exactly, exactly. I think we are living that. We are living that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to know that what is your favorite time of writing and how much time it actually take you to write the book and then sending it to the publisher and getting it finally. as a paperback?
Okay, that's a very interesting question. So as far as my writing journey, like I told you, it started during the lockdown, and it has continued from there. What was a very interesting and a very beautiful thing that happened to me during that journey was that on our platform, seven of us came together who were in seven different locations and never met each other. And we decided to put our pens together and write something. So it was to honor our group. That is, did you write today? Right?
Okay.
And it has been founded by an ex naval officer, Lieutenant Commander Vijay Nair, dear friend of ours, and a very, very interesting and creative person who also happens to be a great runner. And so on that platform, when we wanted to honor the group and we something, and it was appreciated. Then we said, let's write something more. So we wrote a book called Large Vav Pizza,
Okay.
where we took
Yeah, Parna also talked about it.
Yes, so Aparna is a part of that group. So apart from getting great friends, we also could put our ideas together. And each ingredient of the pizza was the inspiration for our character and the story. And that book did quite well. And then we met Vishwakarma Publications, and they published our book on paper. And so we had, while that journey was going on, I had written a number of short stories. So I sent it across to the editor because of the clause that whatever we write, we have to first show it to them. So she liked the yeah, so she liked the stuff that I had written. And though it took a while to get published because the process is a little
Yeah.
long. And then they are quite a popular publisher, so they had quite a few projects in the pipeline. And then it happened. I think it took 2.5 years to get published. And once it was done, then actually the journey starts then after it is published. Because once the book is published, you want everyone to read it and let you know whether they would like to read some more of your work. Should you write more stories? And that's why I said the journey starts then, because you have to interact, you have to tell people, you have to read out stories. I have another advantage being an English teacher. My stories are used in the class.
Okay.
So and they're short stories, right? So and they are my stories. So children don't know what's the ending. They cannot. So part of the game is also to guess, predict what can happen, and so the unseen comprehensions become more interesting. And I get a feedback from them if they like it or they don't like it, or
That,
if they found it interesting. And
that must
as
be really
and
satisfying.
sorry.
I'm saying that that must be really satisfying to get feedback from your students.
In fact, the best compliment I got from a student the other day, because even if I'm going on substitution to a class, I get the children to write something. So when I had asked these children to write a story, I had given them some prompts. And the best thing was when they handed it over to me, one child said, "Ma'am, I've tried to write it in your style." I said, "Oh,
Okay.
that's nice." So that trying to write it in my style, you will not be able to guess who the writer is, the narrator is. I said, okay, great, so I'm so happy to hear that.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. So there's an interesting segment that we do nearly at the end of the session, and that's called rapid fire. And you try to be monosyllabic as much as you can, but if you want to give some explanation, that's also fine. So are you ready?
Okay. Yes, excited.
Okay. Favorite book.
My favorite book. Oh, that's a tough one. I don't know which one to say. My favorite book. Only one, or do I get a number of them? Only one. Okay, if only one, then it has to be Any one of Enid Blyton's, any one of hers, because she is my first favorite author.
Describe yourself in one word.
Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, I agree. Okay, so what is your favorite thing to do in free time?
I, even today, would prefer to read. Second would come writing.
Okay. Do you have a nickname? What is it?
My nickname is Loki. Being Bengali, I have to have a dark name. So it was Loki. And that Loki got distorted to Lucky.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, okay. So, Anamika, a good teacher or a better writer?
Very difficult. I think better writer. Teacher, though, my
Okay.
students will
You
be
could have
able to
said,
say there's always something you can do better. Sorry, I didn't get. Yeah.
I was just saying that you could have said both as well because I know you've been teaching for so long and you must be having a great students fan following as well.
Fan following, I don't know, but I hope that I have enough friends in them, just like I have enough friends in my teachers. I'm lucky to have some of my teachers around and in contact. So, yeah, I think we can carry it on.
One thing that I don't know about you, any kind of secret hobby, passion?
Hobby. Some secret. Yeah, the secret that you don't know is that I wish to do a triathlon someday.
Oh, best
Yeah.
wishes to you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so any other secret writing project going on right now? Would you like to reveal it?
Yes, certainly. Why not with you? There is a book we are writing on a historic thriller. So, we put the whole story together, but the finishing touches are yet to come into place, and then hoping to see that book released soon. Yeah.
And last one is favorite food.
Favorite food? Favorite food has to be fish. I'm a Bengali.
So,
Can I choose
have you?
another one? Can I add Rasgulla along with that?
Okay, I can understand. Rasgulla is like every Bengali's favorite when
Yeah,
it comes
and
to
taken so
sweets.
much for granted that first we say fish and then we say no, no, Rasgulla. Can't be biased.
Rasgulla. Any fish,
Yes.
or is there any particular? Because most of the Bengalis are like Ilish, Mach. They are
I
kind
know,
of,
no, no, no. I am. You see, I've been living all around the world and very little time in West Bengal and Bengal. So any fish is fine for me, but
okay.
Rasgulla is a special privilege. Yes.
And since you got to roam around so many places on Earth, I would say like you're so lucky. But I would like to know that have you learned some recipes also? Did you bring them with your I mean, in your home?
That I must give credit to my mother. She is an amazing cook and she loves to cook and feed people. So she would always expose us to lots of different cuisines. That, we carried on. Yes, wherever we travel, we like to pick up the authentic dishes from there. And I think that way I'm very lucky that we enjoy the food, the local food everywhere that we go. It's not that we are, like stuck to one type of food only. Like if I don't get fish, also I'm fine, and if I don't get rasgulla, also I'm fine. But then it eggs me on to try something, to make myself comfortable. And yeah, we've got dishes from all over. We do try and make all the dishes from everywhere. Yeah.
That's nice. So, anything you want to give any advice to the new writers, to the aspiring authors?
My best wishes to all of them, and I would only say that please be consistent, because in the beginning of my journey, I could write say 200 250 words, and I was amazed that people who would write longer. and how could they write longer was my like it used to baffle me. But slowly it happened that from 250 I went to 500 words to 1,000 words to like last year. So there's a very fantastic group online that is called Penmancy, and they have amazing prompts and challenges for authors. I would suggest that people join them, and so they have this amazing a marathon writing session where you write stories, poems, and maybe a novella. And I took up the challenge last year in a very busy month, which was really really busy, but I could turn in a novella. So I was so happy, I was thrilled that so from journey from 250 words to a novella is possible. So the only thing is be consistent, right? And believe in yourself. We shy away. We say, "Oh, who's going to read this? Who's going to read that?" Believe me, there are people who are going to read, or at least you can make sure people read your stuff. But just keep writing.
That's true.
That's it.
So it was lovely talking to you, Anamika. Today I got to know so many things about you, your life journey, your aspects of being a teacher and also a sporty person and then a writer. So I really had fun time with you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mona Lisa. Even I enjoyed myself, and you forced me to look at my own journey and my life, and I'm so glad about that. Thank you so much, and I've thoroughly enjoyed myself. Thank you,
Lovely having you.
and a
Bye.
big thanks to all the people, yeah, who joined us. Thank you so much. Bye
Yeah,
bye.
absolutely. Whenever you have the time, please do go to the comment segment and respond to all the comments. People, yeah, you have a good fan following. I can see so many comments have dropped in.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy. I'm so glad. I'm blessed. Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Good night. So I was talking to Anamika Kundu. She's an English teacher and she's also an author. And you can find her debut book, Jewels of a Treasure Trove, I think. Yeah, it's called Jewels from the Treasure Trove. Sorry. So this is the book, and I will drop the link in description. And today I had a fun time talking to her. Hope you also enjoyed this interview session. Do join me for more interviews with authors and poets. This is season 3 happening episode 2. Mona Lisa Joshi signing off.